Drop a like on the video if you can't wait for this season's live event. The Bloomwatcher, this season's villain who is currently infecting and attacking the island behind our backs through the reality tree. The live event for this season is heating up. Who is she? What's going to happen and how did we get here? This is the future of Fortnite. We jumped into this season off the back of the demise of the Imagined Order and Dr. Sloan. The island is finally at peace, but the 0 Point is telling us otherwise.
I'm dying.
The Foundation and Jones are on the hunt for the leader of the Imagined Order, Gino, to settle things once and for all, and the Visitor is wanting to leave the Seven. Haven, the island's child who was born to protect the island, is hanging around the 0 Point as things just aren't making sense. Clombos have just disappeared, and the 0 Point is giving off weird pulses, causing earthquakes across the map. The Seven suspect something is up, but the Loopers are just oblivious to it all. The freedom of the island means it's time to party. At the beginning of the season, we were introduced to the reality tree, the source of all the 0 Point's problems. We know the reality tree is harnessing the power of the 0 Point due to the pulses of energy traveling from the 0 Point to the tree, which can also be seen in the roots. The blue glow is actually the power of the 0 Point, as seen in the cables of Chapter 1, when we were using the 0 Point's power to power Neo Tilted. They're exactly the same. Right now, the 0 Point is trying to let us know it's in trouble by giving us tools to defeat the Bloomwatcher. Weird relics are being planted on the island by the 0 Point, and the scientist suggests now is the time to start panicking. The 0 Point should be situated between both islands for full protection, but again it's found itself on the surface of the island, an easy target for new villains. Whoever put the reality tree here on the island didn't mean good. Situated in Reality Falls, this could mean one of two things: it being quite literal, reality falls because of the waterfall surrounding the tree, or reality falls as in the reality falls apart. The tree's roots are spreading throughout the island, infecting major points of interest and using the 0 Point's energy to merge these points of interest with different realities. The last time we saw the 0 Point merge in different realities, it became so destabilized all of reality could have been wiped. With the 7 suspicions rising, they've hired Bushranger to analyse the reality tree by planting a sapling there, and the readings that have come back so far include darkness, darkness, and more darkness. We're all probably thinking the same thing right now: the Cube Queen. Before we talk about the live event, we need to work out who the Bloomwatcher is. The theory going around right now is that the Bloomwatcher is the Cube Queen. At the end of Chapter 2, we all assumed the Cube Queen had been defeated once and for all after her multiple attempts at taking over the island with her darkness. But things recently have taken quite a sharp turn. The Cube Queen actually ended up rifting away at the last second before contact with the water, so she must be alive, right? The Bloomwatcher we have seen so far looks very similar to Bloom, a member of the Pluxarians who is linked with the last reality. Madcap is also from this reality, hence the insane amount of mushrooms on the island. Just like how the Cube Queen wanted to turn the whole island into the Sideways, the Bloomwatcher is wanting to take over the island with plants. We have the west side of the map currently infected. Could this be the Cube Queen's work? It's highly likely. Other features are very similar between the two as well, like the purple face and the eyes. What's strange is that UFOs will be returning to Fortnite in the next few weeks as well. The last time we saw them was the invasion of the Cube Queen on the map before we blew up the mothership, unleashing corruption over the whole island. It was all part of her plan. The other suggestion is that the Bloomwatcher is a brand new character and one of the elementals. We've seen fire with the Fire King, ice with the Ice King, darkness with the Cube Queen, and now nature with the Earth Queen. One thing they all have in common: something to do with a spherical object, new biomes, and taking over the island with their reality. The snowstorm, the volcano, the Sideways, and now plants. They also line up perfectly with the element table seen in the Ice King's castle at the top of Polar Peak. Some people believe that all the changes the Bloomwatcher is doing to the map is a good thing, but I think we can 100% confirm she is evil. If you head on over to the Sanctuary, just like the Ice King's table, you can see the elements all on display. Fire for the Fire King, water ice for the Ice King, we even have a leaf for the Earth Queen, and a falling sun for the Cube Queen for darkness. If we go off past experience, each one of these have done something bad to the island, meaning the Earth Queen, the Bloomwatcher, is more than likely bad. At the beginning of Season 3, we saw our first glimpse at the Bloomwatcher looking into a crystal ball onto the island, focusing on her plan, the reality tree. So we've kind of worked out a potential backstory to who the Bloomwatcher is, but with her arriving in Fortnite, that means a live event, right? But before we jump into the info that we have on the live event, we need to look at what's going on and going to be happening happening in Fortnite before the end of the season. Most points of interest by now have been hit by the roots of the reality tree, with only a few places left, like the Daily Bugle. Once the final destination has been hit, which is the furthest point away on the island, the first step of the Bloomwatcher's plan has been completed. She now has control of the island through the roots of the reality tree. The idea of the crystal ball she uses suggests she's overlooking the whole island, looking through into our reality from hers, wherever that might be. And before the end of the season, we could also see the return of Colombo. Haven is on the mission right now to track them down, as it seems like the reality tree has just made them disappear. They could be involved in some sort of future live event here in Fortnite when they return. The reason we know this is because Colombos have also been updated recently, as they're now able to dance with you and other cool features like that. So now, let's talk about the live event and possible outcomes of what this could look like. Many seem to think that the live events are every other season, and they're right. But that doesn't stop the possibility of having one at the end of this season and going into next season dealing with the consequences. So what could this live event look like? One thing is for sure, the 0 point is being affected. Throughout this season, it's becoming more and more destabilized due to the merging of realities that the reality tree is causing it to do. The tree looks harmless, hence why everyone is just vibing, but really we know very little about it. If it's anything like Chapter 2 Season 5, then the whole reality could be in big trouble. For now, there's no visible signs of damage because no one is jumping in and out of the loop like John Jones was. Instead, more of the energy is being harnessed, causing it to rumble. So much so, it can be felt across the whole map, yet no one seems to care. The 7 should know better than this by now, leaving the 0 point uncontained. But then when you come to think about it, this is the first time the 0 point has been free of the Imagined Order's control, so we don't really know what to expect. Along with the introduction of Tilted Towers, we were introduced to the skull of the Devourer, just east of Tilted, excavated by the Imagined Order. If the robot arm out at sea is anything to go by, then this skull is a hint towards a future live event. Last season, files to do with the monster groaning were added, which obviously still haven't been used, as well as a new point of interest called Cata's Cave, a code name for the Devourer. With the reality tree roots bringing life to different points of interest and merging realities, what if the roots reached the monster and brought it back to life? As I'm making this video, roots are located just west of Tilted and are heading in the direction of the skull. That's just one live event theory, but more than likely the outcome at the end of this season is a cinematic trailer of the Bloomwatcher's actions, taking us into the next season with a live event at the end of Season 4. If history's anything to go by, then yes, live events happen every other season, but I'm not ruling it out for this season whatsoever. And there you go, the background and identity of the Bloomwatcher and the potential live event scenarios. If you enjoyed, drop a like, use code MMCS in the Fortnite item shop, and make sure to check out this awesome video I've picked out just for you. I know you're gonna love it. I'll see you over there.